So now that I'm finishing up this wall for the second time, this video represents maybe something that you shouldn't do, as well as hopefully a cool idea for a different type of accent wall. So originally when my wife came up with this idea of this cottagey dollhouse type of accent wall, I thought it was an awesome idea, and I didn't think it would be that hard. Probably only take about a little over a weekend or maybe two to put everything together and make it come to life. And I'm a person that likes to do my research, and there were two kind of roads that you could go down. And of course, I chose the easy route in using a product like this. And it was super easy, and it went super well, all the way just about to this point when I was just about to finish, when I realized I did the wrong thing. So this product is awesome. It went up super easy. Really, all I had to do was clear off the wall, mark all the locations for the studs. I installed J-channel all the way around the perimeter of the wall and around the perimeter of the window. Pre-marked all of the studs so I knew exactly where the stud locations were. And then this was just like siding a house. These pieces installed super easy. They were about 32 inches long, so they were covering a lot of area, but then I didn't have a lot of waste at the same time. Everything was just going too well. I was screwing these in with a longer screw into studs where I could, and then a shorter screw into the drywall in different locations where the pieces didn't reach. All the rows kind of snapped into each other, and you just worked your way up like you were siding a house. But we got to the end, and it looked great. My wife loved it. I thought it looked good. Everything was good. Until we got to the point where I posted a picture of it onto social media. I wasn't going to actually make a video of this. It was just going to be one of those quick projects that I did, posted, and moved on. And it has been anything, it's been anything but that since. So, where is the problem with all of this? If you haven't come up with this already, it was something that I totally missed. I'm a person that really likes to do my research, really likes to think out all the different solutions to a problem, come up with maybe a problem or a solution outside the box, something that somebody doesn't think of, and this one I missed the boat. This product here is a vinyl or PVC siding. So nothing against this product. It's an amazing product when it's used in the way that it's supposed to. And I'm not even 100% sure which direction I feel. I'll let you guys put your thoughts in the comments of whether you can use this indoors or not. That is inherently the problem. So this being made out of PVC or vinyl products, there is something called off-gassing or gassing, where any product will release chemicals for a certain period of time after it's made. I know that. I just didn't think about it. I saw how easy this could be. Buy this product. It goes up super fast, installs super quick, and I jumped on it and I did it. And I got the entire project done. And as soon as I posted that picture on the internet, I had a few comments of people saying, oh my gosh, you're poisoning your family. This is going to be a terrible thing. It's off-gassing all these fumes, da 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 da. Whether they're right or wrong, I didn't care. As soon as I saw those comments, as soon as my wife saw those comments, we immediately knew what we needed to do, and that was going to be take this whole thing down. I will be honest, I'm not going to get too crazy into my opinions on what I think about using this product indoors. I looked at the data sheet real quickly. I still love this product. I have a bunch of it because I tore it down and it was really easy to remove, and I hopefully plan to use it somewhere else for an exterior project just for peace of mind. But that's what this whole thing was about, is right, wrong, or indifferent. I took it down because of the peace of mind factor and because I knew that there was another way to do it. Now the second way of doing it was going to be so much more time consuming, but we did like the wall and the way that it looked the first time, so we were going to go through and do it all again. And let me show you how we did that. So then the second time around, I did what I knew I needed to do from the beginning. I just didn't do it because it was more work. And I made my own pieces out of wood. So there's a bunch of different ways you could do this. You could cut a bunch of pieces out of plywood with a jigsaw or something. Luckily enough for me, I know how to use CAD. And so what I did was I replicated the vinyl pieces or the PVC siding pieces. I replicated those in CAD, their rough dimensions. So then I had a digital version of the pieces that I had before and that we liked the size and the look of. I then took that CAD drawing, transferred it over to our CNC machine that I'm lucky enough to use after hours, and created a bunch of these guys. And so what these are just a direct plywood copy of the siding pieces that I used earlier. So they're roughly the same dimensions. They all have the same exact size rounds. They have kind of a little recessed area in between to make them look like they have that siding effect to them They're just cut out of plywood. The nice thing about this was that I could make a whole lot larger pieces. These pieces that I have here are just short of 48 inches wide, so they were width-wise on that sheet of plywood. And doing it this way, I could put them super close together, and there was very, very little waste when I cut these out. Another nice thing about these is that I used blonde wood plywood, trying to save a little bit of money. Plywood's still stupid expensive, but this was a little less expensive than some of the other like birch, maple, oak plywoods. It is sanded, so it comes out really nice, and there's a little bit less finishing. One thing that I would do is I would sand the ends a little bit better, or maybe I needed to use a different bit on the CNC to get a little bit better finish on those, but at any rate, came out pretty good. Then as far as installing the plywood pieces, it wasn't crazy difficult, but it was a lot more work than the vinyl siding pieces. The vinyl siding pieces are meant to go up super fast. They all snap into each other, they lock into each other, it keeps the rows all in order. These are just pieces of plywood that I cut out. So I had to be a little bit more intentional in the way that I was doing things. The first and the hardest part was getting the first row set. So with these, they are flat, and they don't have any ridges or anything that lock into each other, so I had to get that angle started. The first row, I actually extended over top of the baseboard molding so that it got that angle going. Then from there, I used the laser level to make sure that my row was straight and kept that process going up. The laser level was actually really clutch because not only did it help me keep the horizontal level of each row, so every row was straight all the way across horizontally, but it had a vertical component too so that I could line up the recessed areas in between the rounds and make sure that I had those rounds or each row going up straight vertically or in a column, and so they weren't kind of going all over the place. So the laser level was definitely key. When it came to actually attaching these to the wall, I used my 15 gauge finish nailer. This was something that came in clutch on another project that I had, and I used 2-inch finishing nails to attach these to the studs. These plywood pieces being 48 inches long, it guaranteed that I was going to hit 2 studs in every piece no matter where it ended on the wall, and so that was really nice as well. I didn't have to nail these into the drywall at all. Everything went into a stud, so they're very firmly attached to the wall. I worked my way up the wall very similarly as last time. It went really quick because the pieces are larger in size. And really the big difference was to cut pieces to length. I was either using the miter saw or a jigsaw rather than just using like a pair of tin snips to cut the PVC. The getting up to the top peak was a little bit more difficult, where you had to mark out some angles and cut those with a jigsaw and get them to fit a little bit better. But overall, install not crazy difficult. The part that was a little bit more work was the trim work at the end. So the first part of the trim work that I did was around the window, and to do that I created a 3/4 inch strip of oak. The only reason I used oak was because that's what our casings are made of in our windows, so I just used a piece of oak to extend that. I thought originally that I was going to put a piece of casing, like window casing or door casing, around the outside of it, but I really liked the way that this ended up looking, and it showed more of the rounds right up next to the window, so I didn't end up putting that piece on there, and I think it looks really nice. But once I had all the trim around the square part of the window, this was the time where I wanted to paint it. I wanted to make sure that I put a coat of paint on before I put the other pieces of trim on, which was a good decision and a bad decision all at once. I ended up taping off the whole room and using my Graco airless sprayer to do this. And this was the first time that I'd ever used this sprayer indoors. Man, did it paint a wall really fast. This was almost like cheating, it felt like. It took more time to clean the paint sprayer than it actually did to spray the wall. It took me probably, 15, 20 minutes to clean the sprayer, and took me, 5 or less minutes to actually spray the wall. But I love how easy that was, and then it just made the coats go on super clean. Then after the main wall was sprayed, I had some pre-painted door casing that I ended up putting on the exterior sides of the wall and the top of the wall. Then I put back the piece of trim that was originally above the curved window, put that back on, gave everything one last kind of touch-up coat of paint where all the nails and stuff went, and the wall looked pretty much the same as it did before, only better. But now that this project's finished, it's really one of those hindsight kind of reminders that really we should just do things the right way the first time. Don't cut corners, and normally that's something that I try to live by, and not doing it here really bit me. Being completely honest, I really do like the way that this looks. The plywood rounds, painted wood on the wall looks a whole lot better than the siding. I think the siding looks better from like 20 or 30 feet away, looks really nice with the wood grain texture and everything. It was definitely way easier to put up because everything clicked together and just went super fast. This definitely took a whole lot more work. And really, the problematic part for some people is not having access to a CNC. That can be solved at like a local makerspace. There's all kinds of different fab labs that are out there that if you know how to use CAD, even if you don't know how to use CAD, a lot of times they can help you make the files, but they'll definitely have the machines ready there for you. All you have to do is pay for the materials. So the making of these isn't even that difficult of something for a normal person to accomplish, somebody that doesn't have access to a CNC. If you wanted to go crazy, you could cut these out by hand, which sounds terrible, maybe making a jig with a router and going crazy like that. You could do something like that. But this is definitely something that I believe is accomplishable, maybe a little bit more difficult than what I had to go through. But in the end, I think a smarter way to do things, I think it looks a little bit more handmade, cottagey, dollhouse type of feel. So I think it actually does what we're looking for better than the siding. So in the end, I really like the way that it looks. Hopefully I have at least given you something to think about, maybe something that's inherently obvious that you know not to do, but something to definitely think about there. And hopefully giving you an idea of a different type of accent wall, something a little bit different than I've seen on YouTube. So, if you liked the video, definitely hit a like. If you have thoughts on this, put them down in the comments. And then if you want to see whatever projects I come up with next, and hopefully they're coming here soon, I encourage you to stick around and subscribe. But other than that, I hope to see you in another video.